ho, talk.
Hello, everybody.
Why am I black?
Hola, hola.
Hello. Wait,
Hello.
I'm in the private chat. No, now.
No, you're fine.
And hello, everybody. I opened this here. I managed to share it before we're actually live. So I'm
Nice.
proud of myself.
Wait, I'm in
Nice.
the private chat.
Shoot.
Now.
Who's that? Estefanía?
I opened it in the phone. Sorry. Gurney's here. Gurney, I miss you.
I don't know who is there. It doesn't show in my
We
telephone.
can tell you. For now, I see only Gurney and Anna.
Anna, which Anna? But Courtney, hola. Hola, Anna.
Anna from Norway. No?
Yes. Say hi and where in the world you are.
Yeah, we're gonna actually go through this again.
Yeah, it's been a while since we asked people, where are you? And
Where are you? Show
where
up.
are you?
Why are you what you are?
Oh! No.
Anyway, we will talk about tap dancing. That it's why we are here somehow. Yeah, no. But if we can talk
Maybe.
about life, something like that later.
Maybe. So maybe we explain a little bit while people is joining.
Yeah.
Yes. So welcome to the season number. I forgot. 3.
Episode 21.
Wow. Okay. So we invited Guillem Alonso.
Hola.
Yay. Welcome. As always, we put like a main topic or something to talk around, and we invite someone that we think it's more suitable for this. And we decide communities are our thing, and talking about the path of Guillem Alonso and what he did here in Barcelona. I think it's really like an interesting topic, an interesting person to talk about these things. So yeah, main topic for everyone, just to put like a framework. Communities. Ta-da! That's it. And listening from Sweden, Gurney, you're
Are
here.
you Sweden? What?
That's you. Yay! Okay. So sorry. Hope it makes sense what I said. But Iselin, you want to add something?
Maybe. Yes, I think it's great that we have Guillem here because if you're a tap dancer in Europe, you should know what he has done and what he's doing. And Barcelona has kind of ended up being the tap capital, I would say, in Europe. That's where you go to learn something new. So it's very important for everybody who's I cannot say who is traveling, but who might be traveling when Corona allows it.
Soon. Will be soon.
Yes.
Yeah, well, in reality, many people were supposed to come here last October to study and all that in Barcelona, especially all the people that were coming from the States and from America, like Brazil, Colombia, all these people, they canceled, they couldn't come because they had so many restrictions with the planes and the traveling. So yeah, I hope now that Corona, we hope, it's getting better and we start traveling back again. So yes,
We need
definitely.
that soon.
Yes. In reality, we have Sarah Rage coming in October. So she was supposed to come. Was supposed to be in Barcelona this trimester, but we had to cancel because of that. So now we postpone it.
Postpone it.
Post it.
Postpone it.
Post it.
Post it.
Post it.
Yes.
So I think it's interesting that you, Guillem, talk about your path a little bit. We know it's huge, so
No, but I can make it very short. It's okay.
well, short. Middle.
No, I'm curious. I don't think I ever heard like the whole story, so I'm really curious, like from the beginning. Yes.
Go
I
for
know
it.
pieces. So
At the beginning, there was a light. No. Okay,
It'll be a hard one. I know it'll be a hard talk. But
Yeah, no. Okay, I started when I was 8. Yeah, I just liked tap dancing, and so I started going in a school here in Barcelona. Since we talk about tap community, in that time there was almost no tap dancing for kids, so I had to go to classes for adults. So I was 8 years old mixed with all the adults in the room. So that was my beginning. Then later I found some classes with other kids, which was nice. And so I really like tap, and my parents, they are musicians. They have music schools, music shops. So I was studying music and all that, and of course going to study in the regular school. And I was doing many things, but I had to choose something. And the most thing the thing that I had more fun and I enjoyed more was tap dancing. So then I decided to do tap. So when I was 17, I went to New York for my first time for 2 months, summer, and I didn't know nothing really about tap history, tap dancers. So I went to New York. I took classes with Sevian Glover, and Bufalino. I don't know, even Chuck Green. Some people that I took in classes that I didn't know their names, so I don't even know who were they. But then I had my first contact with the real tap history people, in the history of tap in the States. So, and of course I chose to do tap. And I got, after I came back to Barcelona, I got some scholarships to go to study to New York back again. So I could be there for 2 years. I got paid the money to study in the States from the Catalan government. So then I studied a lot with all these great tap dancers. And after a while, I started to work also there. I was very lucky. I consider myself very lucky because I was, in that time, for me, they were like the two tap companies that I found more important, at least for me. That was the American Tap Dance Orchestra, Brenda Bufalino, and Manhattan Tap, Heather Cornell. Okay, it was two companies very different ways of working and different ways of approaching, but everything was live music, musicality, group, and improvisation. So great quality. I learned a lot from there. I also create a show with a collaboration with other tap dancers. It was called Tap Collective with Susan Hibbard. She was kind of running that. Now she's the director of the Youth Tap Ensemble in New York, and other tap dancers, many other tap dancers. And of course, when I was in New York, I met great people. We improvised, we did, shows. I was very lucky also to be in a show that Lorraine Goodman, she organized. It was a very contemporary way, it like was mixing acting with dancing and singing, like many things. And in that show, I was performing also with Harriet Brown, which she was one of the most important Zen dancing artists. And so that's also one thing of my dancing, besides tap, that I do the Zen dancing. And so it was good that I had this great contact with Harriet Brown. And then, of course, with Manhattan Tap, we also did some Zen dancing. And after a while, I came back to Barcelona, 1995, 1996, something like that. 1986, I think. And then is where, of course, my idea, you always have this idea of I can stay in the States and work a lot and dance and that, but I always wanted to somehow make the tap community in Barcelona grow. And so that was my purpose. So I started to of course, teach a lot. I created the tap jams. I created the tap association, and then I created a tap company with some of the advanced students, just to give them the opportunity to perform and to learn all about the improvisation and the tap repertoire. And some of the tap dancers is Laia Molins, Rusefon, Jem Melendez, people that nowadays they are performers, so they did very good. And then I joined also the company Camut Band, which that was this is very important company in Spain, in Barcelona, but I think it's a international company. It has performed, I don't know, 2,000 shows all around the world. And we have been in New York, in London, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, everywhere. And this is a show that combines tap with African percussion. In that show, we have the Mendez brothers, which they are very important about tap history in Barcelona. And then when I joined the company, they had like only a 20-minute show a very nice show that they dance on drums with African percussion. But then with me and another percussionist, Tamir, then we decided to create a new show that is called Life is Rhythm. And that's the show that has become kind of the most important one that we have been touring around. So with Camut Band, we have done a lot of things, very, very nice things. And then besides that, I did a show around Europe called Fire of Dance with Rusefon that we went also. We did like 330 shows. And then we went to, and then also I created the show Tapole with Rusefon also, Spanish guitar and tap dancing. And then many of the shows that I've been creating has been related to music. So Tapole was with Spanish guitar. Barcelona Rhythm Tap was with a jazz trio. Then we created Boogie Boogie Tap with a Boogie Boogie trio. So kind of, I like to create shows, and the difference between the shows is normally the music, and that inspires me to create something different. And then in 2011, in 2008 we had the crisis, economical crisis. So many of the tours that I had, they started to get canceled. Until then, I was not teaching workshops or nothing because I had a lot of shows. So I couldn't take work because I had to keep the time always to perform. I couldn't say no to a show, and then you cannot take a workshop and then cancel it because you get a show. So then in 2008 with the crisis, the tours got canceled, and in Spain, the state that we used to perform in the different, like the Rat House, the government houses of the cities, they didn't have money, so they stopped bringing shows to the local theaters. So suddenly I had a lot of time, and I decided then that maybe it was a good moment to open a school. Also because there was a tap dance school from Sharon Lavie, Tapé Plus, that he closed. So for a while I thought that we were missing a tap dance school in Barcelona. So it was a mix of different things. So then I decided to open this school because the music school of my mother, underneath there was a bank that also closed. So then we took the space, and now we have music and dance school, which is Luthier. And so that's the reason I started to do the classes here at Luthier. We opened this new studio. And I always had this idea because when I was younger, I did after being my first time in New York, all the teachers told me that I didn't move my arms, and I had to learn how to move my body, not only my feet, as many tap dancers. So they told me that I should take jazz classes, ballet classes, and all this. And because there was not tap classes, a lot of tap classes in Barcelona, I decided for a season, I did a jazz dance, professional training. Yeah, this thing, like you go every morning, Monday to Friday, 4 hours, 5 hours a day. Then I took jazz, ballet, modern, a little bit of flamenco, tap, yeah, everything. And in many places I've been teaching, there's another school here in Barcelona called Coco Comín, where it's a musical dance school. There is this kind of programs, there is a program where people go there and it's like going to school, everything, it's in a way prepared so for people to learn, which when I went to New York or I was in Barcelona learning tap at the beginning, if you had to go from one school to the other one, then you had to stop, travel, and maybe it was more complicated. So this idea of having a tap program was for me very important. That's why when I had the opportunity, when I saw that it was possible to do it, I decided to do it here in Barcelona. and then since I think 2013 we started this TAP program. So of course in the last years having a school, it's a lot of work, and I keep performing, I keep teaching, and now I teach a lot of workshops also, but well, in the last year not much with coronavirus, but of course now I'm working a lot in the school. That takes a lot of time. So, and I'm focused a lot in the TAP program and all this. And I think the TAP program has been something that brought many good tap dancers to Barcelona and helped to develop also the tap community. That maybe now we can talk more about the tap community by itself. Okay, but that's a little bit more about my history. And in the last year, I created my last show. I decided to create a show. I'm not dancing in it. I'm only making the choreography and directing. It's a family show for kids or families, and I tried to do the same idea when I came back from New York to Barcelona, that I create the tap jams and the association, and also this company called Barcelona Rhythm Tap with my advanced students, that they were very good, as I told you before, Laia, Rosé, Jep, and all that. Then I thought that maybe now it's good to do it, since we have so many good tap dancers in the tap community in Barcelona, and many people that they are doing this tap program, the Luthier tap program, that they finish with a lot of skills, they dance very good, but then they need to learn the next step, which is the performing, working in a tap company. So that's one of the reason why I created this tap, Barcelona Rhythm Tap, and this family show that we just premiere. Well, we have done it a couple of times in the school, because with coronavirus has been like that. But like a real premiere, like when we are going to do it for first time in a real space, is going to be next September for Festas de la Merced, like the party house in Barcelona, a big open air festival with a lot of dance shows. And so that would be my last project, I would say. That's it.
Nice. Ta-da!
Yes.
Thank you, left. Nice. Thank you. We'll call you. No, I'm sorry. A little bit difficult today. Now you know, Iselin.
Yes.
You know the story.
I know.
People, I think for now, they will not have questions, but I'm curious, for example, how was the community before you arrived, like you start building it after the trips to New York?
Yeah, like when you came back from New York, right?
I think maybe what's before that? Yeah, just like, let's start for this question. Like, what was before you started to go to the States?
Okay.
Like this from 8 to 17. Like, what happened there?
Well, I have to say that in the tap community in Barcelona was very artistic. So many people just tap as a way to, as a special act to perform. It was not so much into the teaching. It was more used for performing. So in that time, like people was something very cool and nice to do in a show. Like to even people that they couldn't tap very good, but they could do some steps. Like mixing with circus, with acting, with all these kind of things. So, and that's one of the nice things that I would say the most important. There has been different people, but important people that was dancing was like the Mendez brothers, which I told you that they used to create shows and they used to perform in important theaters in Barcelona and in Madrid also. And they could play music, they could sing, they wrote their own music and they tap. So mainly, I mean, it was like something that they brought on stage. And then the other person, Mireia Font, I took a lot of classes with her. I learned a lot from her. She also could sing. She was a dancer and she used to perform also. She was dancing with orchestras and even in that time she was doing David Dance Before the Lord, you know, that from Duke Ellington. And so it was good because they were dancing and playing live music, performing, and people just start to create. Here in Barcelona has been always very creative. Always we had lots of shows, people that wants to create companies like, you know, Estefanía, and that we want to always create shows. Like people, anyone wants to have their own show somehow. Yes. So in that time, I would say that the good thing that we had it was that like tap dancing was very musical. The quality, maybe the technique was not like in the States, but what the technique they had was very musical, and they could improvise and they could dance with musicians. So I have to say that when I came back from New York, I didn't have to build everything from zero. It was already a good scene, and normally all the tap dancers and the tap students, they were people maybe that they were already involved, actors, dancers, comedians. You know, it was like this kind of very artistic crowd. So I would say is besides the Mendez brothers, the Mendez brothers are two boys, yeah, Luis and Rafa Mendez, which has been like the two main ones because they have been creating Camut Band and all that, and also Cristina Mendez. They have a sister, so they are three brothers. Okay, the Mendez brothers, and so well, I don't know what I was telling about, but the thing is that the tap community already was good and was respectful from other artists, you know, like they saw tap as something very good, and they would collaborate with musicians. So I know some tap communities, they start in a different way, like more from teaching and kids, a lot of kids, you know, like here in Barcelona, it has not been so common to have a lot of kids, you know. Like I know some communities, like everything is kids. You go to teach a workshop some place, and all the students are almost kids, you know. And in Europe, we have different places. Like in France, it's the same. It's very adult. Like the students that you find in France and other countries, they are more adults. Like here in Spain also, and not so many kids. Of course, when you have a community that you have lots of kids, it's good because you know that these kids, if they keep going, they will have a very good technique because it's easier to dance when you have started when you are a kid. But here in Barcelona, maybe we didn't have so many people with incredible footwork, but very artistic and very musical, and a lot of, you know, mixed with the performing scene. They had good connections with the theaters, with the musicians. So we always have been having shows here and there. And I think that's one of the important things about the tap community we had even before I was here. And then, of course, I mixed with them. When I came back from New York, I started to work with the Mendez brothers. And with Mireia Font also, we did many things. And she gave me, like, I did a lot of shows with Dixieland musicians going around Catalonia, or this thing that I told you, the David Dance Before the Lord, the secret concerts of Duke Ellington. There is this fantastic tap piece with the La Locomotora Negra is a band here, a jazz band. And I was performing this because Mireia Font gave me the opportunity to do all that. Also, here we have this tap festival. I think it's the oldest ongoing tap festival in the world. I hope Lane Alexander, hello Lane Alexander. I know that the Chicago is supposed to be this because it's more important. It's real, but in reality, Reus is longer. And so the Reus Tap Festival has been running, I don't know, for 30, I don't know how many, more than 30, 34,
3 or 4?
Yeah, something like that. So there was tap festivals before that they stopped, but this is the one that still goes on. So, and this is in the world, I think, the oldest tap festival that is still functioning. And it's not in Barcelona, it's in a city called Reus. So in that time, in the old time, it was in July, all the tap dancers from Barcelona, we were looking forward to July to go to this tap festival. And it's a tap festival that they have invited many great tap dancers. So, but it's a very, in a city that is not very big, it's very local. But it has been also a very important thing in the tap history in Catalonia or in Spain. So then that's it. Then later, when I came back from New York, then I started to work with all the people and kept going with what we did. For me, it was very important to create. I thought was very important to make things easy, because here we have this way of thinking for performing, which to bring things on a stage. That's something that we like a lot. And then I thought that to be able to have something that it was easier to do, we had to work a lot in improvisation, and also in a repertoire. You can have your own repertoire or standard repertoire like historical. So I started to teach a lot of this standard repertoire that I learned in New York, a lot in Manhattan Tap with Heather Cornell, and also the improvisation. And with that, it was easy to take dancers in and out. Do you want 8 dancers? No problem. We do a show with 8 dancers. Let's do this. Then you improvise here, there. We always had live musicians. And then we had a show in a week. Okay. And so that's why I created the Tap Jams. And they were weekly Tap Jams every Sunday with a jazz trio. And we had singers coming and it was very good because every week tap dancers, they could improvise and dance. And also at some point we could do some of these choreographies. So for many years, we were doing tap jams every week, live musician. And I think that was very important. Nowadays we have the tap jam once a month, which is great. It's like a nice event. But for the training of the dancers, if you can have it once a week, it's something very important because they do it every week, and they get better much faster. Like when you do it once a month, it's good because you have more audience, you have all the dancers coming, and sometimes too many dancers, that means that you have to wait a lot. So when you have it every week, when we had it every week, like the same dancer, he had to go and dance like for 5 or 6 times. We had to do duos, trios, solos.
Oi!
Why?
He disappeared!
Willie! Again?
Maybe his phone ran out of battery? No.
That could be an option.
He probably will come back. Estefanía, maybe you can write the name for us non-Spanish speaking of the oldest tap festival in the comments.
Yes, I don't know.
I don't know how to write it, so.
Not here. I need to go to the phone. Yeah, to the phone.
I think the telephone got bored. I was talking too much. So he was like, hey, shut up. Maybe it was Iselin. I'm sure Iselin, she did like, hey, la, la, la.
Go away. No, but okay. I think it's interesting to know because there's maybe people interested in how to start communities and knowing from which point you're starting, it's really a thing. So knowing here was like a performing scene on tap dancing is different than maybe places that there's absolutely nothing, really nothing. And yeah, we were talking about the tap jams. I think it's we can continue this because I think it's the way to create more tap dancers. And I heard the story in Barcelona that the first jams, because all the people was kind of scared, they were dancing like just one bar. Or 2 or something like they were like running on stage like one next to the other and not doing like a solo because they were not able still. I'm wrong? I heard that.
I don't know. Maybe some people, but
they were like sharing maybe not one bar, but maybe like 4 or something like this, but not actually having like the wheel.
Well, we had the people that we had been training improvisation a lot to be able to go to the tap jams, and they could do more and more. But of course, there was the people that maybe they were even some beginners, some advanced, but they hadn't do so much improvisation. Then you put them together and do 4 bars each or something. And then I was pointing each one so they know when to enter. and exit and all that. But no.
So that's interesting. I'm learning about Barcelona.
Mm-hmm. You should know.
Maybe it was a class, or I don't know. I should know, but I thought it was the idea. Like, I don't know who told me that. Maybe it was Laia. I need to talk to her.
Maybe it's true. Maybe I forgot.
That's a thing too. Okay.
Yes.
I'll figure it out.
No, but Tap Jams was nice. And what I tell you, this thing that we had, now we don't have it anymore every week. We have it every month, which is very nice. As an event, is good, but not so much as training. Yeah, when you're thinking of Tap Jam in a training way, like here we have every week a jam in the park. That it's also very good. The people that go there every week, they also are improvising a lot. Yes. Yeah, but anyway, also then, of course, a lot of teaching, and something that I did that I thought that was missing in the tap community is that I saw so many students. Yeah, I was teaching here and other teachers were teaching in other places, but I saw so many students that they told me, yeah, I was taking tap classes, but then my tap class was canceled, was not enough students. And so I had to stop. And I always thought, well, but there are other tap classes maybe in other places. You can do so many. And it's a shame that was also at the same time not so many students. So I started to create a newsletter. And I was getting all the emails possible from the students and people that was interested in tap. So I started to do sending every show that was, anytime there was a tap show, then everybody has to know that there is a tap show. So we have audience for these tap shows. And also I started to create at beginning of the season, I had to look for all the dance schools in Spain, not only in Barcelona, and look for all the tap classes that they were taught in all the different schools in Spain. So I sent all the schedules and all the schools that they were doing tap in Spain to all the small tap community or the tap community people that was interested in tap. So they would always have a place that they could go and tap. And sometimes they say, I didn't know there was a place that I could tap. And also I did the same with any workshops in July. In July, there was also a lot of workshops in different schools and that people sometimes they didn't know and schools didn't reach. So that was kind of a job that I did. I created a tap association, but I did it by myself. And the tap association, I had it, but I didn't connect it so much. There was a time because I was on tour and I couldn't take care so much about that. And I gave it to Laia Molins. She took care of the tap jams, of the tap association, and about the newsletter. And then she did it from the tap association. So, but also I think that was very good. As if you want to build a tap community, you need to get a little bit more to everybody. One of the problems of many tap communities is that people, they focus in a specific thing. Like you have your own school and then you work for your school, or you have your students, you don't want to mix them with other teachers, or these things that sometimes we are from this side, you are from this side, and that's something. And also all the teachers from the different schools, they have to work together, they have to perform together, and the students, they have to see them together. So break the division of the tap community. Some tap communities might be bigger than others. Maybe, I don't know, other cities, they have bigger tap communities than Barcelona, but they are more divided. So it doesn't look like a tap community because you don't see them together all the time. And if one organizes a workshop, you don't see the students from other schools going to this workshop, So somehow we have to kind of break this line that says, if you're from this place, you cannot go to another place. Like we are all tap dancers, we all dance tap, and we can go together to any tap event. And if I'm happy that my students go take classes with other teachers, I take workshops here and there. And if I'm teaching in one school and there is a teacher from another school, let's get together and let's perform and do shows together. So I think that's also something that is very important. So, and sometimes from a tap association, or from, in this case I did it by myself, but it's good to kind of try to find a place that you can reach to everybody and give them the information of everything. If they are really interested in tap, they can get the information about the tap, what's happening with tap, no matter where they are or where they go. No? Did you get it? Yeah.
I was writing all the names. I don't know if I missed someone. For Guillem, I put like Laia Molins, I put Camut Ban, I put Mireia Font, Jeb Melender, Roser Font.
Mireia Font, Mendez Brothers.
Yeah, done.
Yes.
Sharon, maybe?
Sharon Lavie with Tapé Plus, yeah. Sharon Lavie, he came to live to Barcelona. I mean, we had, because the tap scene had been interesting for some people in Barcelona. Sharon Lavie came to live to Barcelona because to work with Camut Ban, because we needed a new dancer, and he did the audition, and he joined Camut Ban, and he's a very, of course, great tap dancer, and he also had his own idea of the tap community, school, and everything. So he created his own tap company. He created his studio, the home of his tap company. Yeah? Normally the studios are always sometimes the home of the tap company, yeah? Like the American Tap Dance Orchestra, the Brenda Bufalino Woodpeckers was the home of the American Tap Dance Orchestra. So in New York. So many times it's like that. So Sharon did also very, very, very good work in the tap community. Of course, at the end he closed his space. So before Sharon, he opened his space. The most important space in Barcelona was called El Timbal, this dance school from Mireia Font, that they had every summer they were inviting many good tap dancers, like Josh Hilberman. You know, Capella Josh is now a choreography that many people knows. It was taught at El Timbal in a workshop, yeah, in September, in this case. And this September, attention, everybody has to be aware of that. In September will be the 20th anniversary of Capella Josh.
Oh.
So be careful, because something will be done.
Be careful.
Be careful. Today I spoke a second with Josh, and he said, "Hey, 20th anniversary. We have to do something."
Wow, that's great.
Sure.
Yeah. And the Barcelona community was the one who, from these workshops, we kept dancing this choreography, the Capella Josh, and we made it kind of become the kind of standard nowadays, because then Josh, it was a choreography that he did, I think, from some Dutch dancers, and somehow he forgot about the choreography. And years later, he saw that we were dancing it, and so he went back to the choreography and put a video and started teaching it more, and now you can see it in the States and all around, and it's a great choreography.
He tells this story about how it just spread in Barcelona without his knowledge everywhere he goes. He told it in Oslo too when he was here. It was like, what?
Yes. So in this school called El Timbal, there was a lot of workshops with good tap dancers, and the tap quality, the tap floor was very good. You know, like when I built the tap floors at Luthier, I used the same wood that we had at El Timbal, because I like it a lot. So yeah, this is part of, you know, the building of the tap community that comes from this great. It's a shame that nowadays, like Mendez Brothers, they don't dance so much. Mireia Font is not dancing anymore. That's why what we said before starting the chat, no? That sometimes in our tap communities and the history that is very important, these people that has done so many great things in tap dancing, after a few generations they get forgotten. Now many people, they don't know anymore about them if they stop performing or doing things. So yeah, I mean, of course I know, because I've been living the tap history for long now. But people like Mireia Font, the Mendez Brothers, we know them because Camut Ban still works. But Mireia Font did a great job here in Barcelona for the tap community.
And it's, if you don't know, this is encouragement to all the students. If you don't know, ask your teachers, because they would happily tell you.
Yes.
If you're curious about these things.
Yeah, we're used to keep the history with the states. That makes sense. Yeah, we know like the elders and the generations and all the tap dancers, but we also need to do these things on our own countries.
Yes, of course.
So it's part of it.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's sad. Like maybe they know here in Barcelona, they know about Camut because both of us were working with them, and we can post things, so we can talk about it. But not Mireia Font, and it's sad. Like she did great things too.
Yeah.
It happens the same, no, in Oslo?
Yes.
Or-
in a way, but the thing is, like, it's so fresh here in Oslo that still, I mean, I have students who have had, I'm now kind of the third generation teacher, so some of my students has actually more knowledge almost of the community than me, because they have been there from the beginning. So I have all the students that was with this person and then went on to this person and then went on to this person. So that's quite nice. But yes, we're trying to really focus on getting it out there. And like Kjersti, that run the school before, she has now actually, she's writing a book and putting a lot of tap dance, Norwegian tap dance history, which is going to be very, very nice. So it's available for those who are curious too. Yes. Yeah.
Here is Gisela doing it. We have student also doing the history of Barcelona.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Gisela is in charge of doing the tap history classes in Barcelona. We have tap history classes, and she teaches all the tap history, of course, of the States and the great tap dancers. And then at the end, she always talks a little bit about the Barcelona tap community, tap history. So the students, they have an idea of what has been happening here. And I mean, now, I told you this tap festival now is in their 33, 34 edition. So that means that our tap history is already now
Nice.
a little bit long. I know that can be long for something, but kind of, yeah, it's not bad.
I'm curious, like, who taught Mireia Font and Mendez, brother?
Yes,
I
can
know a little
tell you.
bit, but yeah, I know a
Okay.
little bit, but that's interesting. Like, and for everybody, if you want to know about Barcelona, we can talk about it. But tracking how the art form getting to the country, that's interesting.
Yes, Mireia Font, because her
He knows.
father has this school that is specialized in acting. Okay, but they also do some dancing and some things, and they used to organize some dance festivals in Menorca or Mallorca in the islands, and sometimes, and then once they invited a tap teacher for first time. Okay. And Gillian Gregory, I think it's the name, from London or from England, Gillian Gregory. So that's the beginning, I think, that where she started taking some tap classes. And then from there, she started teaching already from a workshop. And then she went to New York, took some classes and came back. So that's the beginning for Mireia Font. And for the Mendez brothers, when they were going to the military service, Madrid, Luis Mendez, after the military service, he went to Madrid and he took tap classes with a flamenco teacher. What he was doing was almost everything flamenco, but he was calling shuffles and things like that. So he did some tap moves, but he was a flamenco teacher teaching tap somehow. And that's how Luis started. And the other brother, at the same time, he went to Paris to do tap. And I think he studied with Victor Cuno or something like that. I think it was Victor Cuno. And so, yeah, of course, there was people even before that they were also doing tap. Some actors that they said, yeah, I did dancing with Fred Astaire. But that's in every country. There is always someone that he says that they have been doing movies and someone that can tap. And here we had other people that could tap. I mean, for me, like Mendez Brothers and Mireia is like in my perspective, the thing that the people that has been giving something that the beginning of the way that later we kept going, but there was some other people that was also tapping, but mainly they have been the beginning of the real tap scene, I would say. So I always say, some people, they say, oh, they cannot tap well, like there are some cities, some countries that they don't have access to tap, and even if they don't have good technique, they don't have the level that there is in other places. For me, it's good that they try to tap, to teach, to create a tap community from a basic place that you don't need to be here. Some people, they say, but they shouldn't teach. Some people, they say, if this person doesn't have the level, this person shouldn't teach. And no, I'm not right. I don't think this is right, because if you are in a place that there is almost no tap, someone has to start, and you have to build it, and then this person will have a student that maybe will get better and go to some place and come back. And so when more we are, the best. And if the tap community grows and everybody has a higher level, maybe someone that doesn't have the level would not be able to teach, because the tap community is already big. So I think I can encourage, animar, any people everywhere in the world to start doing things with tap, even if you don't have the level. We have so many great tap, some shows that they were mixed with not very good tap technique, that tap was mixed with music or dancing or circus, that it was very creative and very nice. That's something that we had different from Europe than from the States. In the time, now not so much, but before it was, everybody said tap dancing in Europe, the level, the skills, the tap technique is not so good, but the creative level is higher, because if you don't have so much technique, you have to you have to make the balance. I have to be more creative, and so in this way there was something that I can say, I don't know if it's 100% true, because what they do in the States, it has been always also very creative and very good. But many times it's true that some tap dancers, they don't think, they don't allow themselves to create, because they see so many people with good technique around them, that they don't think they have the right to create. I'm not ready yet. Yeah, that's typical to hear. No, I'm not ready. I don't have the level. Here in Barcelona, there was people that after a workshop, they could create a show. So we are always, to create, it's always fine. You are always ready.
I mean, the big difference, all that happened back in the years was not recorded. So now everybody, like, I think the pressure of this, like, I'm not good enough, is for social media. So you can see everyone practicing from every corner of the world. So, and I shared this with somebody lately, I don't remember, but this pressure that it's coming, that we didn't have, because we didn't have the connection to this. At least for me, like, I started to know people from the outside, maybe when I was 20, something like this. But before that, we didn't have the social media. I didn't have like YouTube. I just had like the people and the things that Guillem brought here. So that was my context. So there's no pressure. The pressure is like the people is in the room with you. Now the room is like the whole world. So I mean, I understand the pressure.
Yeah, and also because around you have other tap dancers that are very good. So then, before in the tap jams, every beginners, people that had been dancing for 6 months, they came and danced in the tap jams. They were not afraid. Nowadays, because we have so many good tap dancers that they go to dance to the tap jams, the people that they don't have so much level, they don't feel good to go up there with people that they have so much level. So also at the moment that the technique and the level of the people grows, people that has less level, they feel more shy to go and share the stage, which is a shame, but that's the reality.
But it's about sharing and helping the others to become better. So I remember the first time I went, when was that? It was like in Basegoda.
Yeah, Sala Vivaldi.
No, this is Plaza España, the one before. The tap jam.
So
Valle Valle?
Soda. Yeah, Valle Valle. It was a school that they have
It
a
was
stage.
like school. We had the tap jams there, and I remember the first time I did All of Me with Laya because I was like fucking scared, and they said just come with me, and I danced with her. So if you see somebody that is struggling in something, don't like, oh no, you're not enough. Help them. Just a thought.
Yeah, in general, I think that's one of the things here in Barcelona. In general, people has been always very helpful. We don't have we don't feel like no, you're not good enough. These things we always try to share. Sometimes some people they even criticize this way of thinking. It's kind of a little bit communist way of dancing tap. It's like we all are part of a group. We all do the same. It doesn't matter if you have more
Happy
level
flower.
or less level. And so I remember in our tap jam, some people came and they from outside they said, but you should not allow some dancers to perform if they don't have the level, things like that. And this is not the way we do it. It's if someone that is a beginner wants to dance, I mean, of course he has to leave the stage to other people, but everybody can dance and everybody has to dance. And if someone doesn't know how to understand still the music, then maybe you have to dance with someone that they do. So that like many times we go and dance with our students and help them to know, now you stop, you let the musicians play, now you go, now I go, these things. And that's all. And that's nice. I remember that in New York, there was some tap jams that they were different in this case. I remember like Jimmy's Light Tap Jam in La Cave. That was more exclusive. You had to be a good tap dancer. And he had this kind of filter. He did like this time step. You had to show a time step before going on stage. And of course, if you didn't feel you didn't have a good level, you already wouldn't be able to do the time step. So you wouldn't go up there to do the time step. But it was a different kind of tap jam than what Buster Brown had in Swing 46, I think was called, the tap jam that Buster Brown had, and everybody. Then you had kids dancing, everybody was dancing there and playing drums, and it was very more open for everybody. The States is great because you have in New York you have the possibility to have many different jams at the same time, and you have for everyone. But it's nice when everybody has access to dance and in the jam to grow as a tap dancer.
So I have a question.
Yes. There is no question in the chat. No one is asking questions.
People are just happy.
Okay, I'm very happy too. Thank you. Melody. But you can ask questions if you want.
I didn't see. How you pronounce Chester?
Chester.
Almost. Like I see her like writing something, but I don't see the comment. I don't know why. Yeah. So
write it again. Write it again.
My question. Well, we go to Melody. And
it's not a question, it was just a comment to what Guillem said. So Melody is saying that she just popped in late, but they had people saying that certain people shouldn't be allowed to dance too at the London Tap Jam, but that's never been the way that they operated. They've been told about the Jimmy Slide Jam and the Time Step 2. Junior, for instance, went to the Buster Brown Jam, and the London Tap Jam is based on that one. That's cool.
Very nice. Yeah, I think if there is the only tap jam that you have, but of course everyone has their own possibility to create their own tap jams, and the London Tap Jam is a great tap jam, and the level is very good. But that doesn't mean that you can allow everybody to dance. There is always the good dancers that they will do something nice, and if you only have one tap jam in the city, then I think it's good. You have to allow I think it's nice to allow everybody to dance into the tap jam, because in New York you have the opportunity to go to a jam that everybody can go, there is this incredible, fantastic tap jams I love in New York. They are called the Urban Tap Jams, and they are run by Lorraine Goodman. And they always look for places in the street, and they bring the musicians and they improvise. You have people from all ages dancing, all levels, and they are great. And they do it sometimes in the street, sometimes also indoors. But of course, New York, you can have different jams, and it's fine to have like only one for good tap dancers. Since when you have many, it's good that they are different. But when you only have one tap jam, I think, and especially in the communities that are not so big as New York, and you want to make grow the dancer, they have to grow from the bottom, So I think it's good that everybody can dance. Right?
Thinking also for small communities, opening tap jams will allow to grow the audience and the dancers both. So tap jams, you put it on small stages. So if somebody's popping up in this session, it's like, oh, I'm interested in tap, because they see it. So yeah, I think it's both ways.
Yeah. Anyway, I have to say that if you really want to grow audiences, besides the tap jam, you need to create tap shows. I mean, go to bigger theaters, create show with lights. I think it's very important for a person, a student, or someone that sees tap, that tap dancing is something that you can live from, that you can perform. Like sometimes, and I'm sure every tap dancer here that we are in the room has happened, like people say, oh, but can you live from tap dancing? Is it still tap dancing? Is people dancing tap nowadays? Because it's important that people see that tap dancing is in the stage doing tap shows, as well as you can go to see a ballet show or a modern show or Irish show or any other thing. So it's important for people to see that, like, as a student, you have a kid that him and his parents also, they see that it's an option to decide that I want to be a tap dancer. If you think that tap dancing is only for kids to learn and have fun as a after school class, almost all of them, they will stop tap dancing at some point to decide to do something important in their life, go to university, dancing another thing, doing something else. So it's important also for us to put tap in a position that people see that is something that you can become a professional, and performing, creating shows like as good as possible with a light technician, with sound technician, bringing it to important theaters. I know it's difficult, but that's something that also gives the perspective to the audience and to the people that they can have a future with tap. No?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's important. Like building, once you're planning building the community, like all what we're saying, like where I come from, where I want to go, what I can do, all of this, and creating shows also, it's part of the deal.
Oh yeah.
But if it's like a really small and tiny community, it's still, you don't have like friends to build a show, or you find like another art forms to join to do something. And if not, you build the tap jams, so you're helping your students to grow so you can put them on the show. So I think it's everything.
Yeah, sometimes it's very difficult to create shows by yourself, find other tap dancers, but sometimes there is other ways. You can meet with other kind of artists that they are not tap dancers. You can make friends in the wall of circus, and you can ask them to make a collaboration with somebody else. You tap and the other person is doing something, and then you can become part of another show that is not a tap show, but you bring tap into it. You can make collaborations with musicians. You go to music concerts, get friends with musicians, and then start dancing with musicians in the street, in the jams, or any place. And then you start, maybe they call you and how if you come and dance with us. And then slowly you can bring tap into the performing areas, that you don't need to do everything by yourself, which is difficult, especially at the beginning, that there is not many tap dancers. You want to create a tap show with 10 tap dancers and live musician. It's very difficult at the beginning. This is almost impossible, but there is other ways to do it. And Estefanía, this year she's doing something very good, and she has now a collaboration with a theater called Almeria Theater. And those are things that are also very good, because she has this collaboration with this theater, and she's doing the programming, some parts of the season of the theaters, and she's bringing tap shows. So now during this season, we have 5 different tap shows going into this theater and performing for 4 days, every show 4 times, and those are the things that we need to do, bring tap dancing into, and also give the companies the opportunity to perform, because sometimes you create a show and look for someone to take your show and buy your show and put it on stage. So Estefanía is doing this. Is also, if you can find collaborations is always good.
There's something that I'm finding lately, that you can also not build your business or the things that you want to do around tap dancing only in the tap community. So it's important to grow this database, like this mailing list, so all people that is interested in tap can get access to tap. But after that, you need to move out of it. So
at the same time, you need to move out of it. For instance, like here, it's not that big community. So if you based everything that you do on just reaching the tap dancers, it's not going to work.
That's why it's important when you create a show, you have to think in general audience, not only tap dancers. Because if the show you do, it's only interesting for tap dancers, then you are going to be able to do a show. If you have a tap community of 200 people, okay, you can perform one day. But if your show is interested for the general audience, that maybe it means that maybe you cannot do tap all the show. You have to bring a singer, you have to bring somebody else that does something different, and you have a lot of tap pieces, but not everything. But maybe you can perform for a month in a big theater, and you can do 30 shows in a row in a good theater. Like we have done a lot with Camutman, because besides it's a lot of tap, but also it's humor, it's percussion, and it's
something that appeals to everybody in a way.
Exactly. You go and tour and perform in places that there isn't any tap dancer, and the audience love it, So, and I think that's something that it's also important if you want to build a tap audience in a tap community.
Oh yes.
Like now we know we have different circuits. Yeah, there is the tap festival circuit. Okay, which people they live from from these tap festivals. They go to teach the tap festivals, and they do perform in the gala of the tap festival. It's good. It's for tap dancers. It's fine. Yeah, but it's in reality something that is not. It's very small. Yeah, you don't reach out of there, and it's fine. But if you are able to do something that you get out there and be able to do a show, I know some shows you may like more or less, like Riverdance, Tap Dogs. Those are shows that they had a lot of population. They did tour around the world, and they had audience everywhere that they have not done Irish dancing or tap dancing. Okay, somehow they did something that they got into this place. Of course, you can do it in your own way and the way that you like, and the tap. I mean, we all have our own, sensibility about how a tap show should be and the rhythms and all that. Okay, but that's also important. If you really want to have success with a show that you do, you have to think not only the feet and the rhythms, and it's good, but then you have to do something. You can do that in a show for but not for 1 hour. That's why when I went to New York, I was very interested, besides tap, to learn body percussion and zen dancing, I was looking for things to find variety. I was thinking already in, if I want to do my show, what can I do to make it different and for the audience, like give them things that they don't get bored of the same thing, because even if it's very interesting tap dancing, after a while, if you're not a tap dancer, it's difficult. It's hard to, if she's all the time, it's complicated. But if you give them now rope, dancing tap on ropes, okay, and then chairs, and then the stairs, and then the stand dancing, then body percussion, you give them a mix, and then humor, and then you can have somebody doing something different. And then you have your solo, like very deep into the freedom and all that. Okay, then it's easier to build the show like that, to get work. I'm talking too much. I feel like I'm talking a lot.
No, you're fine.
No, it's very good points that you're making. I couldn't agree more.
Okay.
Yeah. I have like a couple more questions, but I was thinking maybe to let them for the next.
That's right. Next week we have another one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are two that, for me, they're like really interesting. Like, and we go like, I will do a spoiler. I don't care.
Okay. Go ahead.
For example, what you brought from the States to Europe, knowing like you did like the tap jams and the association and all of that, but how that, like the emotional impact that had the community there, and what you wanted to bring here, for example. So you can be ready for you, not today, but you can be ready for your question.
I can answer now. I don't need to think about that for next week.
Hold the people there.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would love to also to talk around, for example, how I felt the community when I was a kid, because I entered the community that Guillem built. So we have like 2 generations right now here in the room. Ta-da! So that could be a point. And I forgot the last question.
Then that's homework for you for next week.
Yes,
Yeah,
remember that.
Do the people who's listening have any questions? Then maybe especially for Guillem.
Or think about questions for next week. Yeah, and then
That's
we
possible.
have. Yeah.
For
I
sure.
forgot.
You
That
will
was a good
remember
one.
it eventually.
Yeah. It was a good one. But yeah, I think there's still sun outside. So I think
Yeah, we here in Barcelona it's very hot. Like we have 34 degrees. Like wow,
too much.
these days are getting. But it will go down. It goes like this. But
I'm so
It's very
happy
hot.
when it's 20 degrees here.
It's like the maximum summer is 20.
Yeah, this week has been the summer week for everybody here. It's like 25 degrees and sunny. Perfect.
yeah, Norway is the best place to go in summer.
It's
Here is too
beautiful.
hot. Yeah.
But
I
I think
forgot it.
I think we went through a lot of things in a very short time.
Yes. And since what you told Estefanía about this thing about bringing to the States, I'm not going to talk what I did, but I'm going to say that when I came back from the States, not all the tap dancers of the tap community, they were very happy with me, because because there is external. I mean, you have your position if you're tap community, you are important in your tap community, and suddenly a kid comes from the States and it's like, I tap, and I did won the world championship in the time, and then for them it's like, oh, what's that? Some people they didn't like, and they kind of, this Guillem Alonso, whoever. So
That's
I think
interesting.
I can tell you about that. And I had my dance partner Isabel Moros, that she came with me to New York and came back. Even when I started to perform with some of the important tap dancers, they say, well, I dance with you but not with her, things like that, and so
Now I remember. Sorry.
it's normal that not always people will welcome as other tap dancers, especially when you come with something new, when you are new in the tap community and you are racing as a tap dancer. some people is afraid because they are going to lose their power in the tap community. So what my advice is, if you really want to work in your tap community, don't take it personal, understand why these things happen, and slowly try to, be friend with these people, collaborate, and at the end you can dance with them, and that's what happened here in Barcelona. After a while, we are all like family, and people that they didn't accept me at the beginning, and they, later they we are now like family, and if from the first moment you say, yeah, you don't want to be my friend, you don't want to dance with me, you don't like what I do, then I don't want your, I'm not your friend anymore. I do my thing, and if you think this way, then of course you are making what the other people wants, breaking the tap community in parts, and then the tap community doesn't grow.
We need to go deep in that. We need to remember.
Gossip. You want gossip?
Gossips. Not gossips, but how,
I mean, I think this is an issue everywhere. So it's good for everybody who's trying to build something to hear these things.
Yes.
The other question that I had is like generations that I forgot. Talking about the generation, how they interact in the same time. Like now, for example, in Barcelona, that we have like the older that maybe like not no one, but barely they're known, like Kamut and Mireille and Ford and all of this. People, 40s, like they build a community, they're still there, and they're the younger. And so how
the
they
killers
interact.
now, that the younger
the
they are the killers. We have the killers, the young generation now. They yeah, and then we are the teachers like, good, you're good, but okay. We are the killers. But
the fun part that is I'm cocked in the middle of this.
yes.
It's so fun.
You're not young, you're not old.
No, I mean just in the middle. I'm like the product of the economic crisis that happened here in Spain. Like all the people that was around me is not anymore. So I kind of like in the middle of generations. So I don't know where I belong sometimes. It's fun. So talking about these generations, and I think so. Justice is just laughing at me. Don't laugh at me.
Also, I think, of course, every generation, you don't, I mean, I talk back in the times. If you only got one person that wanted to become a tap dancer every year or every 2 years, that was like a big success, like you work a lot with people, you teach a lot, you try to do things and tap jams and everything. But at the moment that was one person this person, then it was worth it on the work. Yeah, you cannot expect that all your students want to become professionals. If they got
No.
I wasn't touching the computer. It wasn't me. I think it's
what an ending. What an ending. Well, let's try to wait if he's coming back. But
come back and say bye.
What's in Melody? Oh, that's sweet. We should share that, no?
Yes. I'll put it up on the screen so it's shown. Melody says that Guillem have done an amazing and outstanding job building the community in Barcelona.
We'll let him know.
We all agree.
We all agree. We will let him know once if he's back or not. But
yes, he's back.
He's back.
I'm back. I don't know why it happens here. The mystery of when I talk too much is what I tell you. When I talk too much, then the Iselin is doing like.
No, I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it. I swear.
We were sharing this. Gustav, you're here. Melody said, just for you to know, Guillem, you have done an amazing and outstanding job building the community in Barcelona. We put this on the screen when we're out of the screen. But he's always making so dramatic endings. Yeah, I agree too. This is Gustav.
Which dramatic ending? Like I'm leaving the session.
Yeah, just like without anything.
Like
And
the
that,
flamenco dances, and then they go. Okay.
Like you were saying, like what you were saying.
I don't know.
Ta-da! That's what it is.
I don't know. I don't remember.
We lost the thread there.
Yes.
But
I'm sure the point was already there. It was fine.
I think so.
Yeah.
Top generations. I don't know.
Yeah.
We were there. I don't know. Well, but I think it was like quite an ending, no? With Guillem living.
Okay. Sorry, I came back.
Oh. Yes, I think we can like leave it here.
Yeah.
With these questions for the next.
Yes.
I think they're like really interesting. I would wrote them down just in case because my memory it's sometimes working, sometimes not.
And if anybody has any question that they suddenly, think about on the bus or train or wherever you are, just text them to me or Estefanía and we'll save them for the next talk.
Yes. I was trying to like kind of like doing a recap of the things we mentioned. Sort of. It was like all maybe like trending topics, I would say. Like we talk about the path of Guillem, and all the things he did. But maybe the main things are like jams and this newsletter and all the shows and topics about all these things, like tools to bring communities and knowing how they started and how you can get in this to move forward. But I think like how you can get it to move forward is like for next, because we need to talk about these concepts.
Yeah.
That it?
Yeah.
Ha.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much. Sorry that I don't have my cup of tea. Yeah, I know that in the other talks you had lots of. Yeah, I see. Yeah, Estefanía. Yeah, you. I also have water here with me, and a little bit. That's very important nowadays. You need your hand gel.
Oh!
Yeah, you have to put it and clean your hands every time you touch anything. Yeah, all the schools we need to have that everywhere.
I love that you actually hug the hand sanitizer.
But you cannot drink it. You cannot drink it.
No.
Okay. Some people they do, and so yeah. Water this time. Next time,
Guillem, do you want to quickly say something? You can say it next time too, but say it both times. What's happening right now? Because, for instance, we have some people from Sweden here, and Sweden are allowed to travel to Spain. Norwegians are not. So, you want to say what's happening there?
Well, not allowed yet. Maybe in 2 weeks you are. Well, here in Spain, we are doing live classes. We're teaching. We have our chat program running, and now in June 28th until the 30th of July, we have workshops every week, like, I don't know, 20 classes a week. Yeah, Monday to Friday with all the top teachers from Barcelona. We are teaching, and also like jazz and ballet and other things also. So, and the people that can travel, I know some people that they will come from Italy, from France. I'm sorry, all the Norwegian and Swedish people, but
Swedish people are allowed to travel, I believe.
Okay,
not
Swedish,
to Norway, but they can go to Spain, I know.
Okay. Well, so yeah, if people wants to come in Luthier, we are teaching, we have things, and we have shows also. We are performing with Camut Band July 3rd with Estefanía also, and it's free on the streets, and Camut Band is also performing in the theater Almería.
In Almería, I think from 20th.
Yeah,
I don't remember the dates.
Laia Molins is doing some other shows. Tactacay is also performing in July. So things slowly they are starting to happen. I know if you are afraid of the virus, maybe you don't want to travel. But many people are starting to travel. So many people now they have the vaccine, and I think people now they want to do things, And so yeah, here we are, and we are trying to keep dancing, and we have shows and things. So if you want to come to Barcelona and tap, then you can take tap classes, go to the jams at the park, and see some tap shows. And then in September we start over again. October, if any people they have not been dancing much, but you want to do the tap program, we have our tap program. That is this 9-month tap program. We have Sarah Rage teaching for 3 months. in the TAP program, plus
For now.
Estefanía, me, Rosé, Laia, Ruben Sanchez, Ruben Perez Fruti. Well, they have music classes, TAP history classes, and so, and dance. So, yeah.
Scamucan gigs also in September at the end.
Yeah, in September, at 24, 25, and 26, there is this incredible, fantastic festival on the streets with a lot of dancing. And Camut Band is performing, Barcelona Rhythm Tap is performing. I believe other tap shows will be performing. So yes, it's a good time to come to Barcelona. Some people, they just come for this festival, 24, 25, and 26. You can go see lots of shows in the streets. And then in October, we start with the tap program with all this training, the tap training. So that is good for any level. We have intermediate level, intermediate advanced level, and advanced level. It's not only for advanced people. So people, they say, I'm not. No, you can do it. If you're intermediate,
not enough.
You can do it. Yeah. I'm not good enough. No, you are good. Yes. So, yes.
Amazing. Always
Luthier
something
logo
happening
here.
in Barcelona.
Yeah,
Didn't you have on a shirt?
it's a shirt.
There you go.
Ta-da! Beautiful. Nice. Thank you. Black. Perfect. Picture.
Kind of.
Amazing.
Yes.
Okay, so we see you guys next Monday then. Same time. Same
Yes.
day.
Yes. Thanks for coming. And just think your questions.
Yeah.
Remember or send them.
Good.
Thank you for today, guys.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
I don't know how to do